The moment Sister Qing accelerated her car to run him over, our main character knew he had completely lost. No matter how much blood, sweat, and tears he gave to this ungrateful family, it could never beat his fake brother's manipulative lies. At that moment, his heart completely died. I mean, let's be real, he was the actual biological heir of the Ye family. He was just lost as a child, while Ye Yang was nothing but an adopted substitute they took in. Yet his own sister ran him over just to protect that fake substitute, leaving our main character to die in the ICU with pure hatred. When he opens his eyes again, he realizes he has regressed to his second year with the family. Looking at the police officer taking notes in front of him, he instantly remembers exactly what went down today. The fake brother, Ye Yang, intentionally smashed his most precious childhood photo, and Ye Jincheng had only complained a little about it. Yet his own biological eldest sister did not care and personally threw him straight into the police station. Luckily, the incident was way too minor, so the officers gave the wealthy family some face and escorted him back home. The second he walks through the door, his eldest sister, Ye Guiying, confronts him with absolute fury.
She instantly demands to know if he admits his mistake, but before he can even speak,
Ye Yang is standing there holding the broken frame, acting super weak, while telling their big sister to please calm down. The fake brother says it is all his fault, and that he just accidentally broke his precious older brother's things. He even fake coughs a few times, putting on an absolute masterclass in playing the fragile, innocent victim. Ye Guiying instantly falls for his act, feeling incredibly heartbroken as she rushes to comfort the fake brother. She tells Ye Yang it has nothing to do with him, then turns to glare at Ye Jincheng. She barks that he only ruined a cheap photo frame, asking how he could possibly throw such a massive tantrum. She screams that Jincheng knows his brother is sick, but right then, our main character suddenly cuts in and apologizes. He calmly says he shouldn't have gotten mad at little brother Ye Yang, and that the old photo frame actually meant nothing at all. He quietly apologizes to both his eldest sister and his little brother Ye Yang. His voice is terrifyingly calm, which is a massive contrast to the way he used to fight back for justice. He acts like a totally different person, and seeing this submissive attitude, Ye Guiying nods with smug satisfaction. She says it is good he finally understands, ordering him back to his room to reflect. She adds that he needs to give his valuable spring landscape painting to Ye Yang as a form of compensation. Hearing this, Ye Jincheng looks over at Ye Yang, thoughtfully remembering the exact future of that painting. In his past life, Ye Yang ignored this piece because anything the family threw at the real brother was usually trash. There was no way it could compare to even 1/10,000th of the luxury goods the fake brother owned. But here is the crazy plot twist, right after the original artist of that painting passes away. Its market value is going to absolutely skyrocket, though that is only supposed to happen way down the line. So why is the fake brother demanding it now? Honestly, Jincheng does not even want their trash in this life. He says if little brother Ye Yang wants the painting so badly, they can just give it to him. As he turns to walk away, his sister stops him, saying there is still one more matter to address. Ye Guiying purses her lips, bringing up his arranged marriage contract with the wealthy heiress, Zheng Yuting. She claims Ye Yang has thoughtfully decided to fulfill the marriage in his place, so Jincheng is finally free. Hearing this, our main character is 100% certain that this annoying fake brother has also regressed. Yes, Ye Yang is a returner too. Now, Zheng Yuting is a wealthy heiress pampered since childhood. Their families had been incredibly close for generations, arranging this marriage before either of them was even born. They set up this childhood betrothal, but since our main character was stolen as a baby, his fate was unknown. So the arranged marriage naturally fell onto the fake brother, Ye Yang, until the Zheng family suddenly went bankrupt. Ye Yang looked down on them, so the very moment Jincheng was found, he happily dumped the engagement on him. He practically forced the engagement on Jincheng, who also had absolutely zero romantic feelings for the girl anyway. In fact, he completely detested her spoiled princess attitude, but to please the toxic family in his past life, he just bit the bullet and endured it, but things are going to be completely different this time around. The only reason Ye Yang is desperately snatching the marriage back now is because the Zheng family is about to make a massive comeback. They think the Zheng family is a level above the Yis, totally clueless that the Zhengs only survived because of Jincheng. Even if Ye Yang steals the marriage back, if he does not seize the right opportunity at that exact moment, The Zheng family will completely collapse, and our MC Jincheng says this with a totally blank face.
Well, thanks to little brother Ye Yang then. Jincheng adds he is heading upstairs if there is nothing else.
Ye Yang freezes for a second, then quickly hangs his head.
Squeezing out fake tears, the toxic little brother immediately asks what to do, crying that Jincheng must be mad at him.
Ye Guiying snaps that if Jincheng keeps being ungrateful, she will throw him right back into the police station.
She tells Ye Yang that he was even willing to take over the marriage contract just to save Jincheng.
Imagine marrying a woman you do not love. There is no way Jincheng dares to be ungrateful. She tells him not to care about the stupid broken photo frame, snatching the shattered pieces right out of Ye Yang's hands. But once she takes a closer look at the photo, her eyes instantly flash with shock. It is the family portrait they took together right after Jincheng was first brought back to the family. Right in the center, Jincheng and Ye Yang were holding hands, smiling so brightly and looking incredibly happy. Ye Guiying just slowly shakes her head, thinking to herself about the situation. It is just a dumb family photo anyway, but their precious little brother Yi Yang is terminally ill. How could Jincheng yell at him like that? What if he gets scared and his health gets worse? Honestly, the eldest sister is starting to regret bringing Jincheng back, because blood relation or not, they are not close. Since they did not grow up together, she is convinced Jincheng has some shady ulterior motives. Like, he is probably just here to steal the family fortune, unlike poor Ye Yang, who won't even live past 30. The sick brother is just so pitiful, it honestly breaks her heart. Of course, she completely misses the smug, evil little smirk growing on Ye Yang's face. In his past life, even though the Seven Sisters gave him all the blood transfusions he needed, he still ended up kicking the bucket, but the moment he opens his eyes again, nah, that is insane! The villain actually regressed too, and he is absolutely thrilled about it. He laughs, thinking Jincheng was a total loser in their past life, and nothing has changed. In this life, Jincheng stands absolutely zero chance against him. Meanwhile, our MC is already back in his room. He lies on his bed, staring at the ceiling, carefully mapping out his entire future plans. College entrance exams are in just 1 year, and once he passes, he is cutting ties with this toxic family. He makes a firm promise to himself, but he knows he has to deal with the regressed Ye Yang. Jincheng needs to stay on guard against that snake, and soon he drifts off to sleep. Suddenly, loud and crazy banging rattles his door, waking him up to see what the hell is going on.
Standing there is his second sister, Ye Lin, looking absolutely furious as she screams at Jincheng for being bold.
She screams, how dare he insult precious little brother Yi Yang, which honestly makes Jincheng want to laugh. She always calls him by his full name, but for Ye Yang, it is always darling little brother. I guess actual blood ties do not mean anything compared to years of manipulation and fake family bonding. And of course, their favorite excuse is always that Ye Yang is sick and won't make it to 30. If they always expect Jincheng to yield to a sick kid, why even bring him back at all? Ye Ling gets even madder at his quiet reaction, demanding what is with his attitude after hurting poor Ye Yang. She demands to know why he shows absolutely zero remorse when he knows his brother is literally dying. But looking at him, Ye Lin suddenly feels like Jincheng is a completely different person now. When he first returned to the Yi family, he used to be so timid and shy. He would constantly try to please all 7 of his sisters and treat Ye Yang like his actual brother. He even went out of his way to care for him after learning about his illness. Yet the 7 sisters secretly gossiped behind his back, convinced he was just acting with ulterior motives. After all, they thought a kid raised in some trashy countryside orphanage must have some crooked, gold-digging motives. If his parents had not insisted, they wouldn't even want Jincheng back. They worry he might threaten Ye Yang. What if his illness flares up? So Jincheng kept trying to please his sisters. But they just thought he was plotting something. Classic toxic family logic. They thought he was showing his true colors. He just apologizes flatly. Apologizing to the oldest sister and Yi Yang. He sounds totally flat. Treating them like strangers? Honestly, his polite attitude catches her completely off guard. Now Ye Ling has absolutely no excuse to lash out. She is dying to slap him. But since she is a rich, classy daughter, she cannot do something so undignified. She warns him to get downstairs and eat, or else. A final nasty glare, and she leaves. But he does not care. They literally mean nothing to him now.
Why care about strangers? Her heart actually skips a beat from his coldness. She whips around, but he is just quietly following.
She mutters how weird he is acting.
Downstairs, Ye Yang immediately runs up.
He holds up a broken picture frame, fake crying,
apologizing for breaking it. The kid begs Jincheng not to be mad, claiming he tried to fix it.
He acts so scared. Ye Ling immediately cuts in to protect him.
She coddles him, complaining about his weak health. It is so dramatic.
Naturally, she hates Jincheng even more, but the golden boy acts innocent.
He plays the martyr.
This kid is a total green tea boy. Bro, the manipulation is next level.
When a guy acts fake, girls cannot even compete.
Jincheng just takes the frame, keeping his distance.
Ye Ling gets furious, yelling that Ye Yang went out of his way.
She tells him to fix his attitude and act like a brother.
Demanding, what if his weak brother collapses? Ye Yang acts weak, but Jincheng just flatly thanks him. He sets the frame aside. Ye Ling just snorts,
saying she only let him off because of Ye Yang. At dinner, Jincheng just eats quietly.
Pure, quiet quitting. His silence makes Ye Ling even more annoyed.
So she tries to flex Ye Yang's grades.
The golden boy beams, bragging that he got first place in class. She promises him a massive cash reward.
Then she smugly glares at Jincheng, whose grades are just average.
The only reason he is even in this elite school is his art talent, while the favorite son got in through pure academics. Classic family favoritism at its finest. Everyone adores the golden boy, while Jincheng just keeps eating. Ye Ling sneers that since Ye Yang is so incredible as his older brother,
Ye Jincheng should praise him, right? Honestly, this sister is just trying to disgust him.
People are so weird. Before this, Ye Jincheng constantly tried to please her. But she just accused him of having ulterior motives and warned him to stay away. She refused to acknowledge him as her real brother, but now he's suddenly acting like a completely different person. He's quiet, minds his own business, and doesn't kiss up to her, which actually makes her feel totally awkward.
It's eating her up inside. That's when Ye Yang chimes in, telling his second sister to stop.
He says brother Ye Jincheng is actually pretty amazing too, relying on his painting skills to get into the elite art class. But Ye Ling scoffed. Can drawing really compare to being a well-rounded student? She looks right at Ye Jincheng, waiting for his response. She's practically begging to see him look humiliated, but our boy is built different now. Ye Jincheng just calmly agrees that Ye Yang is great, then excuses himself from the table. He gives her exactly what she wants, cleans up his dishes, and heads to his room.
It feels like punching cotton for her. Extremely annoyed, she yells for Ye Jincheng to stop right there. She demands to know why he ignored the photo frame Ye Yang supposedly went out of his way to fix. Leaving it tossed aside like garbage, Ye Jincheng sighs and reaches out to just take the frame back. But she immediately snaps, calling it a confession of guilt. She accuses him of intentionally bullying Ye Yang. She claims the photo frame obviously doesn't mean a single thing to him anyway. Seizing the moment, Ye Ling flies into a rage and violently slams the frame onto the floor. The glass shatters, tearing right across the photo of his smiling face. Oh, this is low-key heartbreaking, guys.
Only now does Ye Ling actually look at the photo. Before, she was just too blinded by rage.
She was so furious on Ye Yang's behalf that she hadn't even checked what was inside.
Seeing it now, she actually panics. It shows just how incredibly important this family once was to him. Why else would he have swallowed his pride and tried so desperately to please them all?
This was his absolute most precious possession, the only family photo they ever took together.
And now she's completely ruined it. Panic sets in as she desperately tries to find an excuse. But Ye Jincheng just tells her since she broke it, she can clean up the trash.
He coolly mentions he still has homework to finish for school tomorrow.
He shuts the door right in her face, leaving Ye Ling standing outside completely stunned. Reality finally starts hitting her. Ye Jincheng has genuinely changed, and there's no going back. For some reason, this realization leaves a heavy, suffocating feeling right in her chest.
The next morning, Ye Jincheng wakes up on time. The oldest sister already left for work. That leaves just him, Ye Ling, and Ye Yang having breakfast together. He gives a brief nod. He sits in a quiet corner to eat, while Ye Yang chalks this change up to some butterfly effect. Reincarnation doesn't even cross his mind. Meanwhile, Ye Ling quietly stuffs a piece of bread in her mouth. She watches the brother who used to try so desperately to win their favor.
Now, he's just dead silent. Finished with his food, Ye Jincheng grabs his bag to head out.
Ye Ling's face twitches, and she suddenly calls out that she threw yesterday's photo in the trash.
She's testing him, but Ye Jincheng shrugs it off, telling her to throw it away then.
His cold indifference is absolute. He walks right out the door, leaving her completely behind.
Ye Ling stands there, totally frozen. Ye Yang looks up, asking what they're talking about.
She quickly brushes it off and takes a gulp of her milk, trying to hide her shaking emotions.
Meanwhile, Ye Jincheng catches the bus, finding a nice, quiet seat to relax.
Looking out at the familiar scenery, he takes a deep breath. Man, it feels so good to be alive.
But remember, his sister specifically warned him never to expose his identity as a Ye family member.
Basically, they hide his identity as the real heir to protect the fake son, Ye Yang. They really do not want their precious fake son facing any drama. So our main character is posing as a regular kid who got into the art class purely on talent. Once the standard academic classes are over, it is finally time for their studio session. But then a very familiar face walks through the door because their usual teacher is out sick. The substitute is none other than his biological fifth sister, Ye Qingqing. The moment she spots our main character sitting with his head down, she frowns in disgust.
She instantly notices that he is not even looking at her anymore.
He is completely ignoring her existence, which honestly makes him look a little more tolerable to her.
Once she assigns today's art project, our boy locks in and focuses entirely on his canvas.
While he is deep in his creative zone, a soft commotion suddenly breaks out. It turns out the school beauty Zhao Yaqi is standing right by the window. She is watching the younger students, but our main character is still fully immersed in his drawing. He completely ignores her presence while Ye Qingqing steps outside to ask if she needs help.
Ye Qingqing softens her voice and tries her absolute best to sound gentle and warm.
Zhao Yaqi explains her request, which completely catches the substitute teacher off guard. Ye Qingqing is totally shocked and asks if she is absolutely sure. She says a top student like her should have plenty of professional artists begging to adapt her work. But Zhao Yaqi admits she did not like any of their professional drafts.
Ye Qingqing is thinking if she rejected prose, how could any of these students satisfy her?
But seeing that the school beauty has no intention of leaving, she has to let her look. She tells her it is fine as long as she does not distract the class. Once the studio session wraps up, the students start packing up to leave. Our boy blends into the crowd and slips away without even saying goodbye to his sister. Watching him leave, Ye Qingqing suddenly feels an overwhelming and icy sense of distance.
She shrugs it off and starts grading everyone's art.
She is photographing and grading each piece until she finally stands before his canvas.
But one look at his artwork has her completely stunned and speechless. He drew a simple budding lotus flower, which is a super basic and common subject. Yet under his brush, it looks incredibly alive and bursting with pure vitality. She is completely baffled by how Ye Jincheng's art skills got this insane. She never knew he was built different because the family always treated him like trash. While she is left muttering to herself, our main character is already walking to the school store. Suddenly, dark clouds roll in and a heavy downpour starts drenching the campus. He does not have an umbrella, but at least he managed to grab some bread. So he takes shelter under the science building to eat his lunch in peace. As he is eating, the school beauty Zhao Yaqi runs in using a book to shield her head. He keeps it super polite and simply nods to greet his senior. But then he notices her wet clothes are clinging tightly to her skin. To avoid making her feel uncomfortable, he does not even wait for her to reply. He just grabs his bag and runs right out into the rain, heading to an internet cafe. Now here is the wild part. The Ye family has high-speed internet, but absolutely nothing in his room. His sisters claim they did not want him distracted during his senior year and gave him an ancient brick phone. He can only make calls and texts, while the favored fake son, Ye Yang, gets the royal treatment. Ye Yang has gigabit internet and a top-tier gaming rig worth over £100,000 in his room. Even the latest iPhone 80 Pro Max went straight to his brother. Talk about blatant favoritism. But Chen used to believe his own sincerity could actually touch his biological family. He even used Ye Yang's illness as his wallpaper just to force himself to tolerate them. Our boy boots up a computer and logs into Picasso, a platform with insane standards.
But the payout is huge. If a wealthy client likes your art, securing a couple $1,000 commissions is incredibly easy. 50 minutes pass. Just as he is about to log off, a notification pops up. He opens the chat. A client wants to know if this piece is actually his. The user, Stormy Knight, sends over his picture. Chen immediately replies that it is his work. He asks if they are interested, and they reply that his art is beautiful. Let us start with a test commission directly on the platform. If it is good, we will keep working together. He quickly locks in the details. By the time Chen gets back, the family's already at the dining table. Standard treatment. If he is late, they start without him. But if Ye Yang is late, everyone waits patiently. Why did you come back so late? His sister demands. Before Ye Yang can even speak, Ye Qingqing cuts in. Chen mutters he had things to do. Honestly, he does not even care to guess what is going on in her head anymore. Just sit down and eat, Ye Qingqing says, never looking back at him. Eat more meat, Ye Yang. You need to nourish your growing body, says his sister. A big piece of braised pork lands right in his bowl. Ye Yang smiles, instantly glancing over at Chen. In his past life, Chen would have watched this with pure envy. Heartbreaking. He lived for those defeated looks. But now, Chen does not give a single damn, leaving his brother completely frustrated. I am full, Chen says, heading upstairs. Ye Qingqing's eyes darken. Ye Yang puts on a worried face, looking at his eldest sister. Brother Chen barely ate anything, he whines. Ye Guiying tells him to ignore it. He can feed himself. But listen, Ye Yang, Zheng Yuting agreed to meet you this weekend. If you really do not like her, let me know. No need to force yourself, but just hearing her name... He is ecstatic. Chen heads back to his room.
Sitting down, he brainstorms design concepts for the client, but a sharp knock interrupts him. It is Ye Jincheng. What do you want? She cannot stand the cold shoulder, instantly assuming he is just playing hard to get. Can I not talk to you? I am your older sister.
I am busy right now. Maybe next time, Chen says, slamming the door right in her face. He spends 30 minutes finishing the draft. If only he had a phone. The picture would have been sent immediately. Instead, he sets it aside to grab some water. Still feeling uneasy, Ye Qingqing goes downstairs. She notices his door is open and sneaks inside. Seriously, what is her problem? When Chen returns to his room, he finds her staring completely mesmerized at his finished draft. What are you doing? He demands. Startled, she jumps back, knocking his drawing board flat onto the floor. Just like that, the wet canvas is completely ruined. Her face turns pale instantly. Talk about a disaster. She quickly stammers that she did not mean to, but Ye Jincheng just calmly picks up his ruined drawing. He crumples it into a ball and tosses it in the trash, cold as ice. He asks what she wants, his voice dripping with pure annoyance. She weakly says she only came to tell him his painting today got a perfect score.
At this point, she has zero confidence. He just tells her to get out.
Ye Qingqing is basically kicked out. Boom! The door slams right in her face. Fast forward to the next morning, our boy goes downstairs to get some breakfast.
Ye Yang tries to act all friendly, greeting him with a fake smile. Typical snake behavior. But our boy just nods, grabs his food, and heads straight to the corner.
Even Ye Guiying notices his cold attitude from behind her newspaper, but stays completely quiet. Ye Qingqing stands there feeling incredibly awkward, coughing slightly. She grabs a boiled egg and starts peeling it very carefully for him. Ye Yang naturally thinks the egg is for him. Bro is in for a rude awakening. She hesitates for a minute before offering it to Ye Jincheng, claiming she is full. But he stands up, says he is leaving, and walks right past. Absolute savage. He does not stop for a single second, leaving her frozen in mid-air. Ye Guiying puts down the paper, giving her a highly suspicious look. What did you just say? She asks, but Ye Qingqing just helplessly lowers her hand. Meanwhile, Ye Yang is low-key panicking because he realizes that egg she peeled was actually meant for Ye Jincheng. Is his sister actually starting to care about our main character? Hey, no way. This thought makes his eyes turn dark with pure jealousy. Anyway, the bus is absolutely packed today, so he is stuck standing. At the next stop, the high-cold school beauty Zhao Yaqi gets on. She immediately spots him.
She softly calls out his name, and our boy politely greets her back. With the crowd pushing, she is forced to squeeze directly into his personal space.
He can literally smell her hair. Talk about a main character moment.
But what actually catches his eye is the book she is holding so closely in her hands. "Dragon Race," he blurts it out, making her freeze in surprise. She asks if he reads it too. He admits he does, but notes she usually writes female lead stories. She laughs, saying she reads everything good, before asking if he has ever read her work. And, oh, he has, but only after getting a phone in his past life. Instead, she mentions she wants to write fantasy next and asks for his advice. Hearing this, a light bulb goes off in his head. The legendary fantasy novel she finished in his past life hasn't even started in this timeline. Since her tone sounds pretty unconfident, he completely skips all the cheesy motivational speeches and gets straight to business. He uses his future knowledge to analyze the perfect entry point and hook for her story. Zhaoyaki's eyes light up. Honestly, she is completely blown away by his advice. It matches her vision perfectly. Our boy just smiles, glad he could help out. He feels a bit guilty as she still follows him off the bus. She keeps walking right next to him, eagerly begging for more of his golden advice. Literally every plot point he suggests hits the nail right on the head. The other students are completely shocked. The notoriously cold school beauty sticking to him like glue?
Laughing and chatting with him? This is a total plot twist. Later, during his break,
Ye Jincheng tracks down the teacher in charge of the computer art lab and successfully borrows the keys. He immediately starts working on his client's custom illustration using his perfect concepts from last night. This time, creating the art is a total breeze. He finishes the drawing and sends it over to his regular client. Within minutes, the client replies with a glowing review, absolutely loving the artwork. They even ask if he's free for more commissions, wanting him to draw a few more.
After noting down the requirements, the client instantly clears the payment. Talk about a dream client right there.
With 3 major orders locked in, he heads to his afternoon class, which is still being subbed by Ye Qingqing. This time, Ye Jincheng finds herself completely unable to look away from his canvas. Her eyes are totally locked on his work, and today's class theme is sketching a live human model. While the other students turn in amateur-looking sketches, Ye Jincheng is completely locked in and focused. With just a few effortless strokes, he brings the ancient Greek aesthetic on his canvas to life. The drawing is so insanely realistic that Ye Qingqing starts questioning if he was always this talented. She racks her brain trying to recall his past work, only to suddenly realize something chilling. She actually knows nothing about her own brother, but then he breaks her trance, announcing he is finished. His cold voice snaps her back to reality, and he immediately leaves the room without looking back once. After leaving campus, he heads straight to a local secondhand market. He snags a dirt-cheap smartphone and crashes at a nearby KFC to use their free Wi-Fi and download all his essential apps. For once, he decides to treat himself, using a delivery app to order a discounted combo meal. Since he is eating out tonight, he has absolutely zero intention of letting the Ye family know. Honestly, why would he? They never wait for him anyway. They do not care. At this point, his strategy for dealing with his toxic family is simple. Avoid them at all costs. And if he cannot, he just acts completely indifferent. By 8 p.m., he finally gets home. The butler bumps into him at the door and gasps in surprise, addressing him as young master. He says Ye Yang suddenly fainted and was rushed to the hospital, asking why his brother is back so soon. Ye Jincheng remains completely expressionless. In his past life, even if his family treated him like trash, he would have ridden his bike all the way to the hospital. But now, he could not care less. Going there would only earn him more scolding and cold glares anyway. He quietly heads to his room. He starts planning out his client's new commission. Meanwhile, Yi Lin and Ye Qingqing finally arrive home. It is already 11 p.m., and their eldest sister is staying behind at the hospital to watch over Ye Yang. Walking into the quiet house, they get a strange feeling. Did they leave someone behind?
Yi Lin feels like there is a huge void in the house, but she cannot quite put her finger on it.
Ye Qingqing looks down. She realizes something. Ye Jincheng never showed up.
It is that damned Ye Jincheng. Their precious little brother is literally lying in a hospital bed.
How dare he not show his face? Ye Lin finally remembers her other brother and she is absolutely furious.
She is fuming. She turns to her sister, asking if she thinks he has been acting weird lately.
Ye Qingqing cannot help but agree, admitting that their brother really has changed a lot lately.
Yilin scoffs, claiming he is just throwing a tantrum because she accidentally broke his family photo. Is he seriously giving them attitude over a stupid picture? Just a photo.
Ye Qingqing is completely stunned by this. She demands to know why she would break his family photo. After hearing what happened that night, Ye Qingqing realizes something deep. He truly does not care about them anymore. A strange, heavy feeling settles in her chest. Why is her heart aching like this? Right at that moment, Ye Jincheng walks downstairs to grab a glass of water and bumps into them.
He gives them a polite, empty nod. Seeing his chillingly indifferent attitude, Yilin instantly snaps.
She grits her teeth, demanding if he even knows that their brother fainted and is in the hospital.
He takes a slow sip of water,
Casually saying he knows. She yells back, demanding why he is not there. But he calmly throws her own words back at her, reminding her of the last time he visited Ye Qingqing. She literally told him never to come back, to avoid agitating Ye Yang and making his condition worse. Absolute savage! Ye Ling looks at Ye Qingqing, completely lost. Did she actually say something that dumb?
Ye Qingqing nods, and honestly, Ye Ling's pride takes a massive hit.
Ego crushed. Her sisterly dignity won't let her look pathetic here.
She snaps at him, demanding why he cannot even ask about their brother, Ye Yang.
But Jing Cheng reminds her that she told him to stay out of it before walking upstairs. Ye Ling gets irritated, asking Ye Qingqing how she can let him act this arrogant.
Ye Qingqing sighs, admitting they were the ones who said those harsh words.
He did what they wanted, so what right do they have to complain? She asks if Ye Ling has even seen his art. Ye Ling just scoffs. Done. Ye Qingqing storms off to take a shower. Meanwhile, Jincheng drafts a few concepts and sends the sketches to his client, Yesterday's Rain.
The client absolutely loves the direction, but leaves some solid feedback to perfect it.
Midnight arrives. By the time he finishes the adjustments, the clock is ticking. Next morning, Jincheng finishes his breakfast and gets ready to head out. Wait, out of nowhere, Ye Qingqing actually calls out and asks him to stop. Jincheng does not say a single word, just giving her a completely cold stare. Ye Ling is shocked, demanding to know what she is trying to do. Ye Qingqing shifts uncomfortably, feeling the sudden heavy tension in the room. She awkwardly brings up his old painting, saying she finally has time to critique it.
Seriously? Jincheng hits her with a dry look, asking if that ever happened.
Ye Qingqing knows he is doing this on purpose to pay her back for her past neglect. Honestly, seeing her squirm after treating his hard work like trash is incredibly satisfying. Hearing Ye Qingqing bring it up, Ye Ling suddenly remembers the situation too.
Back then, Jincheng gifted them all custom paintings, but they did not even care.
Threw them out? They tossed his art straight into the trash and scolded him. They warned him to stop trying to buy their affection with cheap drawings. Now they have the absolute nerve to demand where those art pieces went. Talk about delusional! They think he's just plain dumb, but they are about to get wrecked. Jincheng calmly points out that those were the things they refused to look at. He agrees with them. Those paintings were treated like garbage, so they are trash. Since trash belongs in the dump, he threw them all away long ago. Absolute mic drop. Ye Ling never expected this and instantly explodes in rage. She yells that he has no right calling himself an artist if he trashes his own work.
But Jincheng just shrugs, reminding her that she was the one who called it garbage.
He tells her those things are long gone and he has a bus to catch. He walks out. Without waiting for her to speak, he leaves them behind. She actually threw them away? Ye Qingqing stands there frozen, muttering to herself. For the first time ever, she actually starts to feel a deep sense of regret.
Ye Ling snorts that his art was probably garbage anyway, but Ye Qingqing objects.
No shot? Just look! She immediately pulls out her phone to show her. She shows her the photo of Jincheng's painting and Ye Ling completely freezes. She cannot believe his talent, but Ye Qingqing confirms she saw him paint it. And that is just a basic photo. The real piece would blow your mind.
He is a literal genius. But then, what about their golden child, Ye Yang?
Silence. At the mention of Yi Yang's name, the sudden tension is deafening. He spent so long not knowing how to speak up while they ignored him.
They rejected his attempts to please them just so Ye Yang wouldn't overthink
And trigger his terminal illness. To be fair, Ye Yang actually is pretty smart.
Even without the Ye family bloodline running in his veins, his grades alone are seriously impressive.
Getting into a top-tier university is guaranteed, but let's be real, he is still just a regular overachiever. Meanwhile, if our main character keeps polishing his insane art skills right now, he is absolutely bound to become a legendary master, but he has no idea his sisters are changing.
He gets on the bus and finds a seat to sit down.
At the very next stop, Zhao Yaqi gets on and immediately spots him grind-studying his vocabulary.
She slides right into the empty seat next to him, saying, "What a coincidence, Junior."
Zhao Yaqi takes the initiative to greet him, and he looks up to give her a polite nod. "Morning, Senior," he says, as Zhao Yaqi takes a deep, nervous breath. She summons all her courage in one breath and asks him to adapt her web novel into a webtoon. He is shocked, pointing out that she is already a massively popular author. Tons of elite art studios must be fighting to get their hands on her adaptation rights. "Why me?" he asks. She simply replies, "It must be you." Zhao Yaqi bites her lip, her eyes shining with determination.
She cuts him off, insisting that he is literally the only one who can do this.
She trusts him completely. After a brief silence, he asks her for a reason. He asks why she chose him of all people, and she reveals she saw his art a while ago. She absolutely loves his style and composition, even if it is a bit unpolished compared to some older pros. His work might seem a bit raw, but it has a unique soul that most other artists completely lack. Basically, she just loves his art. He never expected she was tracking him so early. Knowing she noticed him so early makes him super happy inside, but his practical side quickly kicks in. He shakes his head, telling her he has to apologize. With the major college entrance exams coming up, he simply does not have the free time for this project. Zhao Yaqi whispers, asking if that means he is agreeing to do it. He is completely dumbfounded, wondering if his rejection was not already super obvious to her. She laughs, saying she never expected him to start drawing during his senior year.
She meant starting after the exams. With the offer framed like that, he accepts.
With that settled, a huge weight is lifted off both of their shoulders. Zhao Yaqi lets out a tired yawn and closes her eyes to rest up for the day. Seeing her rest, he quietly swaps his English book for a math textbook, studying the complex formulas. Before he knows it, he feels something incredibly soft leaning against him. It leans right onto his shoulder, and he instinctively glances over to see who it is.
Zhao Yaqi is fast asleep on his shoulder, resting peacefully until the bus finally reaches school. He gently wakes her up and hurriedly pulls her off the bus, the cold morning wind waking her up instantly.
Realizing she slept on him, she blushes hard, quickly apologizes, and runs off with a random excuse. Once morning classes wrap up, he goes right back to his grind routine. He borrows the art room key from the administrator, ready to work. But while he is totally buried in work on the drawing computer, his sister Ye Qingqing suddenly shows up. Seeing the door unlocked, she peeks in and demands to know what Ye Jincheng is doing here. She frowns deeply, and honestly, he did not expect to run into her, of all people, in this place. He really does not want to deal with her drama, but she steps closer to investigate anyway. She asks what he is doing, and he immediately shuts down his monitor. Staring warily at Ye Qingqing, he watches as she accuses him of doing something shady. But he quickly fires back that his privacy is none of her business.
In fact, Teacher Li is in the office if she actually needs someone. Sensing his complete distrust, Ye Qingqing snaps that she highly suspects Ye Jincheng of something bad.
Like secretly using school computers to pull off some highly illegal, shady business. Honestly, her sheer shamelessness is next level, leaving him completely stunned. She will stop at nothing, so he finally speaks up. He challenges her, asking what happens if they check and she is totally wrong. Will she apologize to him then? At this point, she has absolutely no way out. Playing along, she agrees to apologize if she got it wrong. With that promise, she waits as he steps aside. Ye Qingqing turns on the monitor, but once she catches sight of his artwork, a sharp breath escapes her as she mumbles an excuse about being angry. Coldly telling her to stay quiet, she only asks why he doesn't practice at home. Practice at home? He almost laughs in her face since he has no gear.
This blood sister of his literally knows absolutely nothing about his real life.
Stupid questions like that only prove she forgot they didn't buy him a smartphone.
Or a computer, let alone a drawing tablet or stylus for his art.
Claiming she understands his resentment, she reminds him he is a senior.
It is college prep season, and electronics might just ruin his focus. If his grades tank, what then? She drops the classic, for your own good line. That fake caring sister act is honestly so painful to watch.
He just sneers at her earnest tone because the school literally provides everything.
Since it is for art students, is she really worried about his focus? Or is she just terrified of him spending the family's precious money? Defensive and screaming, she yells that they give him food and shelter. Without their house, he would literally still be rotting in some orphanage. There would be zero chance for him to attend a top-tier high school. If spending money was their issue, they never would have brought him back.
Firing back, he asks if she is also worried about Ye Yang going bad.
Since they baby him so much, they shouldn't let him touch electronics either.
Annoyed, she accuses Ye Jincheng of being insanely jealous of his brother. Always comparing himself to Ye Yang, he has zero self-awareness. His brother has elite grades while he apparently has nothing. Yet he entered Jushi First High School entirely on his own merit. Even she had to give his art full marks, proving his massive talent.
Favoring Ye Yang is one thing, but they should just admit it openly.
That fake older sister routine of hers is honestly making him sick.
Tearing off her hypocritical mask, he tells her to finally leave him alone. He sits right back down to finish his drawing, ignoring her completely. Fuming with rage, she stomps her feet and storms out with a flushed face, basically running away in total embarrassment, and after school that afternoon. He sneaks into the computer lab to finish his commission for the client. The client approves the design, but by then it is already 6 p.m. Locking up the computer room, he suddenly runs right into Zhao Yaqi. Alright, so after chatting for a bit, they decide to grab some dinner. Now, given Zhao Yaqi's elite status, you'd expect some ultra-fancy restaurant, but instead, she actually takes him straight to a humble local barbecue joint. Love her for that. Two familiar figures walk right in. Sis, my classmates love this place. The doctor didn't put you on a diet, but you still shouldn't eat this junk. It's fine, big sister. If my life is really running out of time, I just want to live happily and do whatever I want. Don't talk like that. Ye Guiying quickly cuts Ye Yang off.
Seeing how tense his sister is, Ye Yang looks down, acting all guilty. Oh, I'm sorry, big sister.
Well, trying it once in a while is fine. Ye Guiying pats his head. Big sister!
Wait, isn't that brother Jincheng? Ye Yang suddenly points in our main character's direction and calls out.
Ye Guiying pauses. She follows his gaze. There he is. But since the restaurant is totally packed, our guy hasn't noticed them yet. They're laughing, completely having a great time. But the moment Ye Yang realizes she's talking to Zhao Yaqi, his face completely drops.
See, Zhao Yaqi isn't just the famous campus beauty. She's also a genius novelist with insane talent and the heiress of the massive Zhao group.
How on earth did Ye Jincheng get on her good side? Did he use his family status? Sis, let's not go disturb them. Ye Yang is low-key burning with jealousy. Honestly, this fake brother villain is so easy to hate. Why does he get her smiles? Ye Yang, find us a seat. I'm going over. Ye Guiying walks straight over while Ye Yang secretly hopes for some juicy drama.
Ideally, she'll end up completely loathing Ye Jincheng.
Yaki, long time no see! Ye Guiying's voice suddenly cuts in, and our main character's heart low-key drops. Talk about bad luck. He never expected to run into her here, of all places. Zhao Yaqi just gives a cold nod.
After some brief small talk, Ye Guiying immediately turns her focus onto him. Yaqi, is this your boyfriend?
Zhao Yaqi is clearly annoyed. Actually, Ye Jincheng is just my friend. Enjoy your meal then. Ye Guiying turns and heads back. After that awkward moment,
He and Zhao Yaqi finish up quickly, pay the bill, and head out. Later, on the bus home,
his phone starts buzzing. He looks at the screen with absolute dread before picking up. What do you want?
It's Ye Qingqing. Why aren't you back yet?
I already ate out, he replies coldly. Back then, she wouldn't even care if he died. Get back here right now. She hangs up.
He gets home and Ye Lin instantly walks up. She eyes him up and down. Her weird look immediately tells him that something happened.
Seriously, what did you and fifth sister do today?
Why did she buy you so many gifts? What's going on? Just then, Ye Qingqing walks downstairs, complaining that his tiny room won't fit everything. He gets defensive. What is she up to now? She claims she does not want to treat him any differently than their beloved Yi Yang anymore. Specifically, bringing up the computer equipment they used to deny him. So she bought him the absolute latest, top-of-the-line gear. Yi Lin is absolutely flabbergasted, staring at her sister in pure disbelief. Ye Jincheng calmly tells her to take it all back because he does not need it. Yi Lin snaps, calling him ungrateful for refusing such a nice gesture. She asks if he is crazy, but he quickly fires back at her. What if this sudden kindness hurts Ye Yang? He refuses to be the family's ultimate scapegoat. Not gonna happen. Favoritism was always their dirty little secret, but Ye Jincheng just exposed it right to their faces. Both sisters look completely embarrassed, but Ye Qingqing doubles down anyway, saying her mind is made up.
She insists he is still their brother, and she does not want outsiders calling them heartless.
Ye Jincheng just scoffs. Why is she forcing herself to act like a good sister? He does not care. Ignoring his attitude, Ye Qingqing turns to their second sister, Ye Lin. She wants to clear out an empty study room for him since his bedroom is way too packed now. Ye Lin is totally furious. First all these gifts and now a study too? She complains about how shameless he is, totally annoyed by the special treatment.
Ye Qingqing quickly glares at her and pulls her aside to whisper.
Ye Jincheng does not waste breath on these toxic sisters and just heads upstairs with his backpack.
He decides that no matter what they plan, he is not touching a single thing they buy.
He wants zero strings attached when he finally leaves this toxic household. A little later, the eldest sister, Ye Guiying, returns home with the golden boy, Ye Yong. Seeing the servants clearing out the study, Ye Guiying asks her sisters what they are doing. Ye Qingqing explains that Ye Jincheng needs a proper, quiet workspace for his art classes. Since his bedroom is way too small, she is giving him the empty study. As she says this, she carefully watches Ye Yong's reaction to see if he's upset. Ye Yang's toxic green tea instincts kick in. Honestly, his fake acting is actually insane. Playing his role perfectly, he says he knows how much gear his brother needs for art. Knowing that Ye Jincheng only has one tiny room, this study is a great idea.
He fake smiles, complete snake behavior.
Ye Qingqing is completely fooled by his act, genuinely touched by how sweet and understanding Ye Yang is.
Ye Guiying also buys the act completely, nodding and letting her fifth sister make the final call.
Yi Lin is absolutely stunned. Normally, she was the one who banned Ye Jincheng from having a phone or computer. Ye Yang is absolutely fuming inside, wondering why their big sister is suddenly going soft.
He is losing his mind. Meanwhile, Ye Jincheng is just chilling in his bedroom.
Suddenly, a knock on the door interrupts his homework. He opens it with a completely blank expression. Instead of Ye Qingqing, it is actually the eldest sister, Ye Guiying. Blocking the doorway, he coldly asks what she wants. His tone is incredibly distant, prompting her to ask if he is going to let her sit down. Saying his room is a total mess, he tells her he would not want to bother her. So she should just say it right there. She asks about his relationship with Zhao Yaqi, and he instantly knows why she is here. Realizing she only came to interrogate him, he calmly replies they are just ordinary friends. She tells him to keep cozying up to Zhao Yaqi, the prized heiress of the massive Zhao Group. Since the Ye Group has some massive business deals lined up with them. She reminds him that Ye family blood runs in his veins, but our boy is completely done playing along. He straight up tells her to find someone else because he has actual homework to do. Then he slams the door right in her face, leaving his eldest sister absolutely speechless. Talk about satisfying. See, big sister? Ling immediately chimed in, complaining about how arrogant he's become lately. She claims she already told their fifth sister that Jincheng would never appreciate their efforts. But of course, nobody ever listens to her. Guiying glares at the locked door in pure frustration before finally storming off. But wait, the resident snake, Yi Yang, is hiding in the shadows, watching the whole thing go down. Once the sisters are gone, Ye Yang creeps up and knocks on Jincheng's door. Jincheng opens it just a crack to ask what he wants, while Ye Yang puts on his classic innocent act. The green tea boy asks to chat, but Jincheng shuts him down instantly, saying he's busy. He tells him maybe next time and slams the door, refusing to give this manipulator any leverage. In his past life, Jincheng was too naive to see through Ye Yong's toxic green tea acting.
He paid a heavy price back then, but this time, our regression main character is built different.
Denied entry, Yi Yang immediately starts faking a medical emergency right outside the door, quickly baiting the sisters over. Ling rushes over in a panic, asking if he's all right while Ye Yang acts completely pale and weak.
He gasps out that he's feeling dizzy, putting on an absolute masterclass in acting.
Furious, Ling starts pounding on Jincheng's door like a madwoman until he calmly slides it open. She screams, demanding to know what he did to make their precious little brother collapse. Ye Yang plays along, whimpering that it has absolutely nothing to do with Jincheng.
He claims it's his own fault, but Ling tells him he doesn't need to defend that monster.
She's convinced Jincheng did this, playing the loud, aggressive defender, while Ye Yang plays the innocent victim. Honestly, the level of manipulation here is wild. But Jincheng doesn't even bother arguing. He just pulls out his phone and hits play. He's got the whole interaction recorded, showing he didn't even touch the guy. Caught red-handed with solid proof, Ling looks incredibly embarrassed.
But she doubles down anyway, claiming it's still his fault for locking Yi Yang out.
She yells that Yi Yang wouldn't have collapsed if he had just let him inside. But Jincheng brings up the receipts, reminding her that she was the one who banned Ye Yang from his room first. She instantly freezes. She actually did say those exact words, and now she's totally cornered. Panicking that his little show might fall apart, Ye Yang weakly squeaks that he's fine. He asks to just go lie down, desperately trying to change the subject.
After a quick checkup, the doctor confirms there's absolutely nothing wrong with him, letting everyone breathe. Surprisingly, fifth sister Qingqing speaks up, calling out Ling for blindly blaming Jincheng. This is a major plot twist. Qingqing actually defended him, leaving Ling completely speechless.
Forced to take the heat, Ling can only seethe in silence while Ye Yang plays his final card.
He apologizes to her, taking all the blame onto himself, like the perfect little martyr.
He acts so incredibly guilty that Ling is practically moved to tears.
She quickly comforts him, insisting that she was the one who made a mistake.
Meanwhile, Jincheng just rolls his eyes. The next morning, he wakes up early to leave this toxic house.
He lets the butler know he's heading out, but just as he reaches the front door, he runs right into Qingqing coming back from her morning run, and she immediately frowns at him. She asks if he really hates being home that much, but our boy just tells her not to flatter herself. Ye Jincheng basically brushes her off with a quick excuse and tries to walk right past Ye Qingqing.
She stops him. What else does he want?
Ye Qingqing is furious, but our boy just tells her to take her trash back. He never asked for it. What he actually wanted, she could never afford anyway. Now, he does not care. Ye Qingqing is left completely stunned, and honestly, seeing her finally sweat is so satisfying. Alright, so he gets to school early. Soon, he gets a text from Zhao Yaqi offering free lunch. But here is the catch. She wants a little favor in return.
Sitting by the window, he just chills.
He wonders what she wants, but hey, free food is free food. Suddenly, a classmate yells that someone is outside looking for him. When he steps out and sees Ye Yang, his gut instantly tells him to stay on guard. Ye Yang looks down, asking in a quiet, fragile voice if he has a moment. Keeping his distance, Ye Jincheng completely shuts down any chance of closeness. Just spit it out. Right as they are talking, Ye Qingqing happens to walk by. Spotting them together, her heart drops. Meanwhile, Yi Yang is so focused on speaking that he is totally clueless. Clueless, he pleads with his brother. He brings up the massage tips, finally jogging Ye Jincheng's memory. Yi Yang complains that even with the written notes, he is too slow to learn. Our guy is built different. He just shrugs. Besides, Ye Qingqing is not going to die if she misses a couple of sessions. That brutal response completely shuts Ye Yang up. He asks how he can be so heartless to his sister. Honestly, he does not care. He is just speaking facts, but right then, Ye Yang freezes. Behind him stands Ye Qingqing, her face completely pale with shock. Pure horror. He just leaves.
He does not even spare her a single glance. He is literally him.
A sharp sting hits Ye Qingqing's chest.
Ye Yong's worried voice snaps her back to reality. Forcing a strained smile, she plays it cool.
She asks why he is even talking to Ye Jincheng.
Don't meet him at school. Hearing this, Ye Yang secretly lets out a massive sigh of relief.
Thank goodness.
The school bell saves him, and she decides not to push further. Go back to class.
But once he is gone, she finally lets go of her tightly clenched fist.
She heard it all. This is wild. But she is too terrified to confront Yi Yang. Fearing for his fragile ego, she just looks toward the classroom. Inside, Ye Jincheng is happily chatting with Fang Kaiwei, completely ignoring her. Ye Qingqing cannot easily barge into the classroom right now, so she just drops him a quick text.
She demands he come to her office during lunch, but he just glances at his screen and leaves her on red.
Honestly, he is already meeting his gorgeous senior at noon, so he has zero time for her. Right after fourth period, Zhao Yaqi texts him, "Hey, Junior, come to the playground under the phoenix tree."